Hello guys and welcome back to our countdown to Christmas. Today is the 6th of December and we've got another video for you where we're going to compare some Necron units. Don't forget guys, there is a giveaway ongoing throughout December. All you got to do is just comment down below which of these units you prefer, and also just make sure you are liking the video and subscribe to the channel. So yesterday's video, if you did miss that, it was a Doomsday Ark versus the Canoptic Doomstalker, so you'll find that down below in the playlist. But for today's video we've got something slightly different. We've got a Catacomb Command Barge versus two Necron Overlords. Now I've had a few suggestions in the comments and as well as the Discord. What is my preferred option, taking either two Overlords or the Catacomb Command Barge? So we're going to kind of go through that today, talk about the advantages and disadvantages of both sides, and then I'm going to give my final opinion at the end of the video. Just my opinion of course, your opinion may be different. If it is, let me know down in the comments below. So it's the Catacomb Command Barge against the two Necron Overlords. Right, so there is a slight points difference because the Catacomb Command Barge comes in at 145 points, whereas two Necron Overlords will total 180 points. So there is a 35 points difference there. Now there is upgrades on top of that as well, but just bear in mind that there is a 35 point difference throughout the video. So let's begin with comparing the datasheets, the advantages and disadvantages of both the stat lines. Now the Catacomb Command Barge is moving 12 inches, that's the first thing, and it's also got fly in fact. Whereas those Necron Overlords, they're on foot and they're moving only 6 inches. So when they're buffing those core units nearby, the Overlords on foot aren't going to keep up as well with the fast attack units and just the general fast units that we've got in our codex, whereas the Catacomb Command Barge is going to be able to do that. Now the second stat of note is the toughness value of 6 with the Catacomb Command Barge, whereas it's only toughness 5 with the Necron Overlords. However, the Necron Overlords do win on two other stats. First of all, it's the attacks. Now they have the same attacks, in fact, 4 apiece, but don't forget we've got 2 Necron Overlords here, so that will actually in fact combine to 8 attacks in total. And you can say the same with the wounds. They come in with 5 wounds apiece, that would actually combine to 10, whereas the Catacomb Command Barge is only 9. So it isn't all the Catacomb Command Barge's way there, but I still think that that's got the better stat line, as you'd expect from a vehicle model. Right, let's talk about resiliency for both of these units. First of all, the Catacomb Command Barge has got the quantum shielding ability, so it's a 4+ to wound it, can't be anything less than a 4+, and also a 5+ invulnerable save. Now this can be made into a 4+ with the quantum deflection stratagem for a command point, but it isn't a phase shifter save, it's a quantum shielding for a 5+. That's where these units slightly differ, because the Necron Overlords have got the phase shifter save, so it's a 4+ invulnerable save, so they do have the better invuln save as standard. Now something unique to the Overlords which the Catacomb Command Barge cannot use is the Stratagem Resurrection Protocols for 1 command point. So if you do lose one of your Necron Overlords, for 1 CP use this stratagem, on a 4+, he stands back up again with D3 wounds remaining. That's something the Catacomb Command Barge cannot use because it's not an infantry model. So that one's a tricky one to score. I think I'd still side with the Catacomb Command Barge with the quantum shielding, especially on a character model. So yeah, I think I'd still score that one to the Catacomb Command Barge. Now let's talk about the weapons next. They're very similar in fact. There are a few differences in what each of these units can take, so we're going to go through those differences. First of all, the Catacomb Command Barge can have the option of the underslung weapon, which is either the Gauss Cannon or the Tesla Cannon. Of course that's something that the Overlord models cannot take, although there will be 2 of those models, and if they've got say the Staff of Lights, that's 2 times Staff of Lights I guess. Now something the Catacomb Command Barges cannot take, first of all, is the Tachyon Arrow. You can't be taking that on the Command Barge, although it's not that great to be honest with you, is it? Unless you're maybe upgrading it to the Arrow of Infinity, but even then that's not actually that great either. But the second one is the Hyperphase Glaive. Can't be taking that on the Catacomb Command Barge. Again, it's not the greatest option. But one of the good options that you cannot take on the Command Barge is the Void Scythe. Now this is that strength times 2 weapon, so that's strength 10, minus 4 AP, and a flat 3 damage. Now it is a -1 to hit with it, but you're already hitting on a 2+ anyway. But the Command Barge cannot take this. It would be really cool if it could in fact, but no, it can't. So this one I'm kind of on the fence, because you get that underslung weapon with the Command Barge and it can be shot into combat as well because it's a vehicle model, but you do get some added extras with the Overlord models which you can't get with the Command Barge. I'm going to sit on the fence with the actual war gear. Now, as for unique synergy for each unit, this is unique here. First of all, the Command Barge is going to be synergising with the faster moving models such as your Canoptic Wraiths, your Scorpion Destroyers, maybe it's your Tomb Blades or even your Canoptic Acanthrites. They're really fast moving models that are core, so they can benefit from things such as Mile Will Be Done, Relentless March Aura, whereas the Necron Overlords on foot aren't going to be keeping up with those units as well. But if you flip reverse that and look at the slower moving models, okay, they can go with the Command Barge, so I suppose it isn't as unique, but they will be better served with a Necron Overlord because they're cheaper. So your Canoptic Spiders as an example, maybe your Necron Warriors, your Immortals, or even your Flayed ones. They're all moving pretty slow, 5 inches, so yeah, that fits the Necron Overlords movement just fine. So next we're on to the overall purpose for both of these units. What is the overall purpose when you're using them? So for the Command Barge, for me it's a forward-thinking buffing character model. As already mentioned, they're going to either be going with the fast attack options with the Mile Will Be Done ability, or can potentially handle itself and go solo, putting a War Scythe on him, and yeah, literally just taking out something further up the battlefield. Whereas the Necron Overlords, they're going to be with those slower moving models, foot slogging up the board, potentially taking a Resurrection Orb with the Necron Warriors perhaps. Alternatively, you can take the Veil of Darkness Relic on one of these Necron Overlord models to be getting up the board, but again, you're going to be taking a slow moving unit because if you take, say, Canoptic Wraiths, they're just going to charge off and leave your Necron Overlord exposed. However, there is one thing that we must mention here, which we haven't really mentioned yet, is the fact that you've got 2 Necron Overlords as opposed to the 1 Catacomb Command Barge. So that means you've got 2 completely different locations for that My Will Be Done ability. It's very important to mention that because of course the Catacomb Command Barge is only going to be in one location at a given time. Right, advantages and disadvantages. Starting off with the Catacomb Command Barge. Well, it's 35 points less than the 2 Necron Overlords. It's moving 12 inches with the fly keyword. It's got that quantum shielding ability as well as the toughness 6, so it's really resilient, really tanky, and individually it's just got more wounds with 9. Now I know when you combine the Necron Overlord's wounds characteristics it will come up to 10, but individually they are less. And finally, the underslung range weapon, whether it's the Gauss Cannon or the Tesla Cannon. Now as for some disadvantages, well, we just mentioned it, it can only be in one location at a given time, whereas if you've got 2 Necron Overlords, they can be in 2 completely different areas of the battlefield. Now there's no phase shifter save, there's no 4+ invulnerable save because you've got the Quantum Shield save, which is a 5+, and you've got no Void Scythe option, which a lot of people quite like, having that strength 10, because our melee characters aren't actually that great in our codex, are they? Finally, you just got less combined wounds as a total. So that's Command Barge. What about the 2 Overlords? Advantages are as follows. So they're buffing core units from 2 different locations, we've said that already. Combined total of 10 wounds, a combined total of 8 attacks. You've got the Void Scythe as well as the Tachyon Arrow options, and they can stand back up again on a 4+ if you spend that 1 command point on the Resurrection Protocols. As for the disadvantages, they're moving slower, not as quick as the Command Barge unfortunately. They're not going to be flying either because they're on foot. They've only got toughness 5, not toughness 6, or there's no quantum shielding either in fact. And finally, no underslung range weapon. They can take the Staff of Light, but then you're not going to be taking a melee weapon such as a War Scythe, so it is going to be one or the other with those. So this one is actually quite a tricky one for me because I'm not sure where to go with this. One of my favourite units in the Codex is actually the Command Barge, but I can definitely see the potential of having 2 completely separate Necron Overlords, buffing 2 completely separate units. But I'm going to stick to my guns with this one and I'm going to be selecting the Catacomb Command Barge today. So guys, let me know down in the comments which one you would select, and if you want to tell me why you can, you don't have to. Other than that, all else I have to say is thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.